Hi and welcome to another tutorial from Blender Insight, and this time I will do this flower tile wall, but I will use PatternMaker to speed up the workflow a bit. And the first thing is to make the tiles. So we start right away, go to patterns, and when I go to patterns I can see that I have a lot of things like this one or this one that could be a tile for me to use, but we should use the brick generator here. So I just drag out the brick generator, and it's an advanced pattern. You can see we have a lot of parameters in it, but we use it in a good way now so you understand how everything works. So we just take the UV to the vector, and then you can see here, if I take the factor to the base color, you get something like this. It's not tiles. So to make it like this, you just change the ratio here. So put it to 1 and then you get tiles. We don't want this offset, so put the offset to 0. Now we have these tiles, and you can see we have some corners that are smooth here. So then we change the corner softness. So here you can see we can change that. So put it to something like this. Could also be that we would like to play a bit with the height and flatness and so on, but we can take that later on. Just now it's more important that we have something that is similar to this. So it's a good start to have it like that. And the next thing is that we, instead of using the factor here, we can really use the color. So if I take the color from the brick generator, you can see directly that we get a lot of different grayscale, and that is because in the bottom of the brick generator we have a color A and we have a color B. So we can just change these three here, because we have a mortar as well, to be something similar to this. I will not do too much changes because I can perhaps get it exactly like this, but then I have to play a lot to get these values because I didn't save exactly what type of values I had. So I just do some type of estimation, something like this. And then the color mortar is rather bright here, so we change that to something brighter, and we have something like this, and it will work. It's okay. So then we have the tiles in here, and it's also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we have 6. So we need to change the scale up here, so we put that to 5. So now we have something that is very similar to the tiles here. And we can also add in some height to it. So if I just put in a vector bump, Shift A, vector bump, and put the factor into the height here, you can see we get that. That is rather sharp, so we can take down the strength a bit. So we have it like that. So now we have something that is similar to this, and we can concentrate on the flowers. So to make flowers, I have used the pattern that is called a capsule. So I can just drag it in here, but instead of putting this on the UV, which we normally do, I have an output on the brick generator that is called tile UV, as you can see. And that already has taken care of the tiling, so I can just put the tile UV to the vector here. And if we look at the result right now, you can see that we have that on each of these. So then I can just change the length, the angle, or the scale if I want to. So you can play with that as you want to. But to make it a flower, we need more than one capsule, and that we can use the pattern circular splatter to. So if I just put that between here, so we put in circular splatter, then I make the changes on the UV and get a new UV out here that we then can use here to make the flowers. Now you can see that if I have an angle of 0, you have the length going in this direction, and it will not be like petals. We need to change the angle. So you put that to 90 degrees and we get the flowers here. Now we just need to adapt the scale and the length a bit together with these three things in the circular splatter: the ring, the amount, and the skew. So the rings is the amount of rings here, so we have 1, 2, 3 rings, and the amount is the inner ring amount. So here we have 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can't hardly see it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then that is increased with it doubles on each ring here. So that is 10 and that is 15 and so on. So by changing these things, then you can change it to be something that is similar to this here. So then you just change the skew here. So if you take up the skew, then you change, so you increase the center, or you take down, and you can even use a negative value to make it like this, and then you decrease the center. So you can play with these two to make something like this, and this looks rather okay. We can also do like this, that we use flat just to have black and white here, and now we have good flowers here. Then we need to change the colors of them, and we also need to take away every second flower to make it exactly as the result. And that we can do now. So the really nice thing with the brick generator is that we have an ID. So we have an ID, so this is 1, this is 2, 3, 4, and that means that we can change the color, but we can also say that every second should go, so number 2, number 4, number 6 should go, or every third and so on. We need an ID to do that. But to make it easy, then we already have a node that fixes this. So if we go to the base nodes, okay, really low, then we have the UV filter, and you can see we have all the bricks here, and then some of those are gone in here. So that really looks like something that we can use. So we just drag that in here and connect everything that is similar. So ID and ID, IDX and IDX, IDY and IDY. So now we have some information for the UV filter, and then we can play with this. So let's say that we would take away every second. Then we just tell them that every second should be gone, or every third, or every fifth, or fourth, and so on. So we can change it like this. We also have, so we can change every row if we want to. So if I want to take away every second row, then I can, or every column, then I can do it like this. And the same with the rows, so I can do it like that. So it's a versatile thing. And I can also, if I want to, do total random to take away what I want to, and then I have a seed here to change it. So if you want to filter something away, this is a perfect way to do it. But right now it's just every second, so we can change the step ID, and now we have everything as we want to. So that is good, and then we have everything out as we should. The next thing is the colors here. So to make the colors, we can use a white noise. I don't know if I can use this one. No, because that is of course the color for the brick. Yeah, now we need a white noise texture. So then we can just take the ID from the brick generator to white noise. So just drag out the ID and then start to write white noise. And then you can see white noise texture, and that one with the W is the one that we should use. So then we get the color out, and if I take the color out to the base color over the principal, you can see we get a new color for each brick here, which we can use, or each tile here, which we can use for the flowers. So we just need to combine the capsule with the white noise, and that we can use a color mix too. So Shift A, converter and color mix. See if I can find that. Color and mix color. Here we have them. And then we take these flowers in here. So if we have a flower, then it's white. So then we just connect the color from the white noise texture into this here. And then there should be colored flowers here. And now it's not, and that is because I'm not using color. So I just changed this color here, and now I have the colors in here. The other thing, that should be the bricks, of course. So then I take the brick color as A. So color from the brick here, and now we have this in. We can do a slight modification if we want to, by just adding a hue range value here. So Shift A, go to color. Here we have hue saturation value. So put that in, and now you can play with the saturation. You can play with the value to make it brighter. And you can even play with the hue here to change the color a bit if you want to. So here you have some type of control of what you get out until you get it as nice as you want to. So that is what you can do. And one last thing I would like to show you is that in the brick generator you can of course do some things that make it less perfect. So you can make like a random offset, for instance. And since we are using the tile UV as an output, the pattern will follow along, and that is really good. So let's say that I change the offset a bit here. Then you can see that the flowers here are following in a good way for the offset. And I can also change the random offset just a bit, just to make it less perfect. And here we also have border width random, we have height random, and so on. So everything to make it less perfect. But whatever you do here, the pattern will follow. And that is really good. So we are now finished. And total for this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 nodes. And to make this with 11 nodes, normally then you would not be finished. You need a lot more to make this happen. But with PatternMaker you only need 11 nodes, and most of the output you could find in this brick generator here. And since we used pattern today and not so much the base nodes, we didn't need to do any transformation here because all the patterns are just drag and drop. So you just take a pattern and drag it here and then you have it. So hopefully you learned a bit on how to use the PatternMaker today as well. And I just say bye for now and see you later.